begin by indicating that clearly the rise of the anti-Semitism in the United States and across the world is alarming, especially after the October 7th terrorist attack. The anti-Semitism attacks have increased exponentially. No one should feel threatened or scared because of who they are, and we must call out anti-Semitism each and every time that it rears its ugly head. Today, I want to point out, though, that President Trump and his administration has cut vital federal programs, funding, and programs that are key in fighting against anti-Semitism. These freezes and cuts must be reversed immediately. It's something I've actually spoken about here in this very committee. My first question, what I'd like to direct it to Deputy Director Sleeper, let me just make reference to the fact that these non-profit security grants is a critical federal resource that helps organizations at a high risk of terrorism and other extremist attacks improve their physical security and prepare for the myriad threats they face for synagogues, mosques, churches, schools, and community centers. This program is not only is not the only medium to obtain the protections that they need to keep their community safe. Unfortunately, as I pointed out, to date, the administration has not released any notice of funding opportunity for the fiscal year 2025 or conducted its usual public webinar to help potential applicants understand the grant application process. Nearly a month ago, right here in this room, I pressed Secretary Noem on when our communities would receive guidance on this critical funding. Unfortunately, she did not give me an answer, and here we are today, still waiting, by the way. So, with that, Deputy Director, how are the delays in receiving the notice of funding opportunities, along with the absence of public-facing guidance like the webinar, impacting the ability of vulnerable organizations and groups to access resources necessary to protect their communities?
Thank you. The nonprofit security grant has and should continue to be an essential component of a comprehensive security strategy to secure Jewish facilities.
Well, thank you. We obviously know that, but unfortunately, I just want to stress the fact that that is still ongoing and not released, and that is something that we're all advocating for, but unfortunately, that is still something that has not happened. We also recognize that homegrown, violent extremists and domestic terrorists prey on our Jewish community. This is why our New Jersey Office of Homeland Security identified attacks from these groups as the highest threat to New Jersey. But inexplicitly, the Trump administration is redirecting counterterrorism personnel and funds that should be used to fight homegrown domestic terrorism. For example, the FBI field offices across the country has been ordered to reassign agents away from our counterterrorism and counterintelligence. Recent anti-Semitic attacks at the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., and in Boulder, Colorado, underscore the urgent need to double down on efforts to combat domestic terrorism and simply not walk away from them. So with that said, Mr. Siegel, how does redirecting, once again, the federal resources from the homegrown extremists and domestic terrorists affects the safety and security of the Jewish community?
It affects the safety and security of the Jewish community. We need to seize this moment now when the Jewish community is in a crisis of violence and anti-Semitic incidents targeting the Jewish community to make sure that we are using every opportunity to uplift, invest in, not contract, funding in those entities that will help protect the Jewish community.
So I know I have 5 seconds, but let me just say, I hope that you are sharing that thought and making that statement to the front office, the White House, so that these funds can do exactly what you're talking about and advocating, making sure to protect that, because that is not happening.